Let's talk about $648 extra on a monthly basis for Social Security, including retirement disability, SSDI, survivors, spousal, and SSI beneficiaries. That's the focus of this video. So let's get into it and go through all the details. Alright, some new numbers and reports have been released focused on your monthly benefits and how much more you should be getting on a monthly basis, right now above and beyond your regular monthly benefit. Now these new reports and these new studies that are coming out here is something I certainly want to bring to your attention. Today's video is going to be about $648 extra on monthly basis for Social Security, including retirement disability, SSDI survivors, spousal, and SSI beneficiaries. That's what we're going to focus on. Let's get into it and talk through all the details. Alright, some new numbers and reports have been released focused on your monthly benefits. Right now above and beyond your regular monthly benefit. Now these new reports and these new studies that have been coming out here is something I certainly want to bring to your attention. Some new reports and these new studies that have been coming out here is something I certainly want to bring to your attention right here in the video, because at the end of the day it's your money, your benefit, your lifestyle, your bank account, and the money that you rely on to fund your actual lifestyle, put food on the table, put a roof over your head, clothes on your back, gas in the car. And again, the list goes on and on. You know about this. In fact, I've been reading a bunch of other studies and reports coming out right now that a huge number of people reliant on Social Security benefits are actually relying on these monthly checks more and more every single month. Right now, because basically nobody has any money, and the percentage of people that are reliant on the Social Security benefits continues to increase. So as a result of that, these numbers and these dollar amounts are getting more and more important. And even more important than they have been over the last several years here. So again, something I certainly want to bring to your attention, because anytime that I come across reports like this, I always need to bring this to your attention right here in the video, because does your local news talk about this? Highly doubt it. Does the national news talk about this? Highly doubt it. Does your local newspaper bring this to your attention? Maybe I don't really know what's in the paper anymore, but I highly doubt they're talking about this. Maybe in some rare instances, but these are real numbers out there, and these are real reports pointing all this out. And again, what I need to bring to your attention. Alright, so here we go with a new report on monthly benefits and how much more you should be getting on a monthly basis, right now above and beyond your regular monthly benefit. Now the first thing that's really important is your benefits are adjusted each and every year because of the cost of living. That doesn't surprise anybody. Well, this has been a major factor here. And again, impacting your monthly benefits. What I'm going to be focusing on in this video, which by the way, quick side note here, if you have not done so yet, make sure to subscribe down below, totally free to do so. There's a big subscribe button down there, hit that if you have not done so yet, so you can stay tuned with what is going on here. Does the national news talk about this? Highly doubt it. Does your local newspaper bring this to your attention? Maybe, I don't really know what's in the paper anymore, but you know what? But let me tell you. Let me just say, if they did, that would be good. They wouldn't have to go out and try to make up some crazy story about the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. That is not true. This report is a real report from real people. So I'm gonna bring it to your attention. So let's see what we've got here for 2023, according to the Social Security Administration. The average monthly benefit for a retiree in the United States has risen by over $650 since 2000. Now, you know this is based on the current pace of inflation and how that's trending. But I just want to give you an example because it makes it so much easier to understand. Let's say your monthly benefits have increased at a rate of about 0.5% every year for 23 years. So that might not sound like a lot, but when you compound the numbers, we're talking about $7,700 in extra annual income. Now let me break it down for you, because I know some people are going to be thinking, wait, isn't this just something that I'll get in 1 year? Well, no. In 2022, your Social Security benefits increased by about $7.70 on a monthly basis. So what does this mean? If lawmakers would have come forward 23 years ago, or let's just say back in 2099, if they had come forward and actually passed through the adjustment to the COLA from the CPI to the CPI, that one simple little change to this, it'd be a basically $648 more per month to beneficiaries. Right now. Now you might be thinking, but wait, that doesn't really make sense. The math on that doesn't make sense. Here's why it does make sense. Think of it this way, the CPI outpaces the CPIW by a little bit, right? 0.5%, 1.3%, 0.2%, 0.7%, 1.75%. The number keeps going up here, but if you add them all together over 23 and 2 years, that is where the math comes in. So you might be thinking, it's only a little bit. A few tenths of a percent. 1.3, 1.7, whatever it happens to be. 1.8 or however many points. Whatever it may be, but I'm right, it is only that little bit over a long period of time. But it's the compounding where the big money really comes in, because you might get an extra $1 a month 23 years ago, and then that turns into a little bit more, compounded again the next year. It continues to roll just like the snowball effect, right? So that's what it comes out to. That's what I'm talking about today. So let me say this much, they knew that Social Security insolvency would be coming if they would have done this, call it 23 years ago, or let's just say back in 2009, if they would have come forward and actually passed through the adjustment to the COLA as far as how it's calculated from the CPI to the CPI, that would have been a basically $648 more per month to beneficiaries, right now. Now you might be thinking, but wait, that doesn't really make sense. The math on that doesn't make sense. Here's why it does make sense. Think of it this way, the CPIE outpaces the CPIW by about 0.5% or 1.3 or 0.2% every year. January 10th, July 10th, 2%. The numbers keep going up here, but if you add them all together over 23 and 2 years, that is where the math comes in. So you might be thinking, it's only a little bit. But it is only that little bit over a long period of time. But it's the compounding where the big money really comes in, because you might get an extra $1 a month, 23 years ago, and then that turns into a little bit more. Compounded again the next year, and it continues to roll. It starts to pick up speed the more that it goes out into the future or down the mountain, kind of the situation here, right? So that's what it comes out to. That's what I'm talking about today. So let me say this much, they knew that Social Security insolvency would be coming if they would have done this. 23 and 2 years ago, Social Security insolvency would have already happened, right? This would have been an old story by now, because it would have been costing and pushing a lot more money out to the beneficiaries a lot sooner. So again, we could talk about that in much more detail in other videos if you want me to, but there's some conspires about it saying, oh, maybe this is a planned thing. Maybe they purposely didn't do it because they knew the trust fund would be running out of money. Again, I don't know. But I will say this, that kind of makes sense, right? So again, hope this one helps you. As always, go back and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Right down below the video is a big subscribe button. Make sure to do that if you haven't done so. Share the video with your friends on my social media, or as always, go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel.
Alright, welcome everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing July, August, and September, and what these 3 months mean for your Social Security checks, as well as why they're so incredibly important, especially this year. That's the focus of the video. Let's get into it and talk about all the details right now. First off, just to clarify, when I say Social Security, I'm referring to all benefits administered by the Social Security Administration. This includes but is not limited to Social Security retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, spousal, SSI, and even VA benefits. I just want to throw that out there really quickly, because sometimes down below in the comments section, I see questions like, what about me? I receive SSI. Or what about SSDI? Or what about retirement? The list goes on and on. So, to clarify, we're talking about all 70+ million beneficiaries who receive these ongoing monthly checks. Now, I want to talk about the importance of July, August, and September, since they are upon us already. Can you believe it? I know, right? But I want to talk about the details of these 3 months and how these translate into your Social Security checks and why they are so incredibly important, especially this year, and what we've been seeing over the last several months. So let's jump into it and talk through the details a little bit further. However, really fast before we get into it, can I ask a huge favor? If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting the subscribe button right down below the video. It's totally free to do so. I'm here for you every single day. I'm watching the headlines, doing the research, advocating on your behalf, answering questions, and doing anything I possibly can right now to point out everything going on. It's a weird time out there. A lot of things are changing, and we've been hearing a lot about Social Security so far this year. Quite a few big announcements have come out of the administration as well. A lot of good stuff so far, and we've got a lot of the year yet to go, right? Anyway, I'm here for you. Again, thank you so much for joining me. Please, if you haven't done so, subscribe down below. It's totally free to do so. Also, feel free to share the video with the share button down below with your friends on your social media. Thank you so much, truly appreciate you, and thanks for watching. Let's talk about the details. So, these are the 3 most important months when it comes down to your monthly benefit. Now, we could probably say that a bunch of other months are very important as well, but when it comes down to your benefits actually increasing, this is what it comes down to. Leading up to these 3 months, July, August, and September, we've been talking about a bunch of different details as far as what's going on and the information that has been coming out that is going to directly impact your monthly benefit. If you've been watching the videos here on the channel for a while now, you probably heard me talk about this because I've been talking about this since the very beginning of the year. I've been saying get ready. We need to continue watching the trend on what is going on and how it's going to play into the very important months basically in the middle of summer, right? July, August, September. These are very important months. It all comes down to the data points that we've been receiving so far this year, which is the CPI, or most importantly the CPIW, which is the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. This is the metric that they use to determine how much the COLA raise is going to be for your benefits next year, for 2025. They gather that inflation data during these months, July, August, and September. These are the 3 months that they use. Now, you might be wondering, how do they do that? I'll tell you really quickly. They add the inflation data from these 3 months, July, August, and September over last year, and the difference is the COLA for the following year. Does that kind of make sense? They compare inflation for these 3 months over last year's same 3 months, and the difference is the COLA for the following year. Does that make sense? Anyway, I can talk about that formula more in a different video, but my point here is, what have we been seeing so far this year? If you've been watching the videos here for a while now, you know exactly what's been going on. So far this year, inflation has been moving higher pretty substantially here the first handful of months, or basically the first half of the year. We've been seeing inflation moving quite a bit higher. When it comes to raises to your benefits, it depends on how you look at it. Obviously, higher inflation means higher prices on goods and services, the things that we're buying every single day, every single week, every single month, and where we are spending our money, right? This means that we're paying more out of pocket for all of these things. Not good. However, when it comes to your monthly benefit, we could possibly look at this and say, okay, these higher prices, yeah, they're not good right now in the short term, but in the long term, this actually means that it may result in a significantly higher benefit increase for your monthly benefits permanently, by the way. A lot of people don't realize this. Yes, I agree, the high inflation right now is not fun. The last 3 years or 3.5 years that we've been dealing with this high inflation, I agree, it has not been a fun situation. It's tough. However, when we look at the big picture here, these raises that are coming in, including the big raises we've received the last couple of years here, the 5.9%, the 8.7%, the 3.2% that we got this year, these raises are permanent. These will impact your benefits forever. For the rest of your life that you receive benefits, you're going to be getting these COLA raises. So, even as we see this data coming in over these next 3 months, and how this data shows whatever it happens to be as far as impacting your monthly benefit, yes, in the short term, inflation is quite a bit higher, and this is really rough right now. But hopefully, crossing our fingers, this inflation actually gets stabilized here and starts coming back down a bit. At some point it will. However long it takes, we don't really know. It's going to take a long time. Eventually, when it does, just remember we've locked in these higher COLA raises for the last several years here, and this is going to impact your benefits forever for the rest of your life, which is pretty nice, right? Remember as well, you've heard me say this before, compounded, all of these higher raises compounded on top of each other year after year, it actually results in quite a bit more money in your monthly benefit. Right? So we don't know what the COLA is going to be yet. There's speculation. We can calculate based on the information we have so far, and we can probably round this down pretty close to what it's going to be. But let's wait a couple more weeks here to see what the next data point comes in at, and we'll get that information to see a better projection here. Within just a matter of a couple of weeks, we can probably narrow this thing down to within just a few tenths of a percentage point. Now, some people out there are suggesting it's going to be anywhere between 2% and 4%. Okay, fine, that's as good as saying it's going to be between 0% and 2%. That's a very big range. I'm not sure about you, but that does not get me all that excited to say, oh, it's going to be this huge range. Okay, fine, anybody can say that. Literally, anybody can flip a coin and say, yeah, it's going to be between this range. Okay, fine, that doesn't take any brain power to figure out. However, in the next couple of weeks, when we get that next data point, I will come back in a separate video and tell you where I believe within a few tenths of a percentage point where that thing is going to land. Here's the thing, the more data points we get on this, the more accurately we can project this thing. Obviously, we won't know the official information until October. That's when they come up with the official announcement for the COLA next year. When we get that information, basically this next data point here in just a couple of weeks, it'll be quite a bit easier to calculate this whole thing and come forward with a projection that's within probably a 0.5% or maybe even tighter of a range. But again, we just want to get that last data point. So my point is, these months are important here. Leading up to them, I've been coming out in a variety of videos saying, hey, we got to look at the trend here. What is the trend of inflation going forward? Well, it's moving higher. It's been moving higher for many months now. That's why I continue to come back in January, February, March, and April. I was coming back in these months and saying, look at this, the trend is higher. We're seeing inflation moving up X% per month. The projections are moving higher by so much per month as well. With that projection, we may be looking at a substantially higher COLA than we're actually anticipating right now. I want to point this out really quickly as well. We don't just see a CPIW reading go from 1% or 1.5% up to 5% in a single month. Just doesn't work that. So again, we don't know what the COLA is going to be yet. There's speculation, and we can calculate based on the information we have so far. We can probably get pretty close to what it's going to be. But let's wait a couple more weeks to see what the next data point comes in at, and then we'll get that information to see a better projection. Within just a matter of a couple of weeks, we can probably narrow this thing down to within just a few tenths of a percentage point. Some people out there are suggesting it's going to be anywhere between 2% and 4%. Okay, fine. That's as good as saying it's going to be between 0% and 2%. That's a very big range. I'm not sure about you, but that does not get me all that excited to say, oh, it's going to be this huge range. Okay, fine, anybody can say that. Literally, anybody can flip a coin and say, yeah, it's going to be between this range. Okay, fine, that doesn't take any brain power to figure out. However, in the next couple of weeks, when we get that next data point, I will come back and give you a more precise prediction within a few tenths of a percentage point of where I think it's going to land. The more data points we get, the more accurately we can project this thing. Obviously, we won't know the official information until October. That's when they come up with the official announcement for the COLA next year. But once we get that next data point in just a couple of weeks, it'll be easier to calculate this whole thing and come forward with a projection that's within probably a 0.5% or maybe even tighter of a range. So my point is, these months are important. Leading up to them, I've been making various videos saying, hey, we got to look at the trend here. What is the trend of inflation going forward? Well, it's moving higher. It's been moving higher for many months now. That's why I continue to come back in January, February, March, and April saying, look at this, the trend is higher. We're seeing inflation moving up X% per month. The projections are moving higher by so much per month as well. With that projection, we may be looking at a substantially higher COLA than we're actually anticipating right now. I want to point this out really quickly as well. We don't just see a CPIW reading go from 1% or 1.5% up to 5% in a single month. Just doesn't work that way. I mean, it could, in theory, technically it could do that, but if that were the situation, we'd be in a very bad situation. It just doesn't rise that rapidly like that. But it does incrementally move up, 0.5% here, 0.4% there, 0.7% there. It does keep moving up month over month, and we continue to look at the trend. We say the trend is higher. Therefore, when we get into these 3 months, that's why they're so important. And why I've been watching this very closely over the last several months, pointing out that, hey, look at the trend here, it's moving higher, means during these 3 months. Here's the thing as well, will this inflation continue to move higher beyond July, August, and September? I'm going to say this much. Let's hope not. Why? Because we want this inflation to top out. Ideally, we want it to top out in August. Why? Because that's right in the middle of the 3 months that we're looking to gather the data. That means we caught the top going up, caught the very top, and we're catching the very highs going down in September as well. My point is, if this inflation is going to continue doing what it's doing, we want it really to top out in August. That means we've captured as much of the potential inflation as we possibly can. Does that make sense? We do not want it to top out in December or January. That'd be bad, meaning we missed the top, and the COLA for next year will not be nearly what it should be because we didn't catch the high of the inflation. We'll continue watching this, and as we get more reports, I'll keep coming back to break all this down for you. I just wanted to highlight quickly that July, August, and September are very, very important. This is why it all translates into your COLA. I know the COLA is a love-hate relationship. I see it down below in the comments section. I guarantee it, I'll see it on this video as well, people saying, "Who cares, it's the COLA, we don't care." Okay, that's fine. If you don't care about the COLA, then call Social Security and tell them to keep it. I highly doubt you're going to do that, right? Nobody's going to do that. My point is, I get it. We all love the COLA, but at the same time we also hate the COLA because it's never good enough. I get it. I see the comments. I know how we all feel about this. But at the end of the day, just think of it this way. It's your money, it's your benefit, it's your lifestyle, it's the amount of money you're getting in your monthly benefit for the rest of your life. This is going to compound year after year going forward as well. Any raises on top of this will just help you get a bigger raise regardless of what the COLAs are in the following years. Make sense? Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. It's totally free to do so. I'm watching all the details for you. Otherwise, share the video. There's a share button right down below. Share it with your friends on social media so they can also see this information. Otherwise, go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel in the video library. Otherwise, down below in the description or at the top of the comment section, I've hand-selected some videos for you. Right now, on your screen you'll see some videos popping up. Make sure to check out one of those videos as well. Make your selection now. Enjoy your day. Take care. Have a good one.
Breaking news, $1,400 fourth stimulus check update. When will it arrive? Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Kedar here. Today, we're diving into something super important. The much-anticipated $1,400 fourth stimulus check update is here. We are talking about a targeted, laser-focused stimulus check designed to benefit our most vulnerable citizens first. That's right, I'm talking about Social Security retirees, individuals with disabilities, veterans, low-income and no-income households, people receiving SSI, SSDI, and senior citizens. I've got all the juicy details you need to know regarding the potential lifeline for the fourth check. Stick around until the end to be among the first to know what's brewing in Congress and how the economy is playing a vital role in contributing to the next round of stimulus checks. In these busy and uncertain times, you might be wondering what's really happening. Today, I have all the details regarding a potential $1,400 fourth stimulus check, specifically targeted to benefit a wide range of people, including those receiving Social Security, SSDI, survivors, SSI beneficiaries, VA, RRB, low-income, no-income, seniors, older adults, and people with disabilities. If you fall into one of these categories, you definitely don't want to miss out on the details. You might be wondering if we can be certain about Congress taking action this time. If this happens, you will receive another round of stimulus checks. We need more people like Bernie Sanders who care about senior citizens. Bernie Sanders has spent his entire political career fighting and caring for American working class and poor people. He is a true American hero. Let me know what you think about Bernie Sanders. I think he should have been the president. Bernie Sanders is one of the advocates who truly understands the pain of low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries. The Social Security Expansion Act manages to package a comprehensive bill that would reform Social Security, giving much-needed attention and benefits to those who need it most. It's crucial to keep an eye on various economic downturns. They can start slow and then hit us hard, like a big snowball rolling down a hill. As it gains momentum, it becomes a continuing growing effect. Once the economy takes a downturn, it can be quite dramatic. Money is tight right now, especially for low-income and fixed-income households. Speaking of the potential stimulus check and who could be included, we will discuss what type of stimulus check it could be, when it might come out, and why the government would issue a stimulus check in this scenario. We have all the details, and I will break them down right here in this video. If you are a low-income or fixed-income beneficiary of Social Security, you could be eligible for financial benefits. Before we proceed, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let's jump into all the details. I will cover the fourth stimulus check update and let's discuss the next round of stimulus checks. Things are changing rapidly, and we are in unusual times with unexpected developments. Bills, packages, proposals, and the urgent need for Social Security reform are on the horizon. I appreciate you checking out these videos for the latest updates. Make sure to hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe. Let's jump into all the details. There is a possibility of Congress approving a stimulus check if certain circumstances unfold. We can't be 100% certain, but if the situation continues to develop in a certain way, there is a high chance that you will receive another round of stimulus checks. Some may argue that Congress would never approve another round of stimulus checks, but history tells us otherwise. In the past, a divided Congress has come together to support the American people during financial crises. Regarding the possibility of a stimulus check in the near future, it is good news that they can add a stimulus check into legislation if they wish. Based on the history of the last couple of years, stimulus checks generally go out 1 week after the bill is signed into law by the president. In some cases, it has taken as little as 48 hours after the bill was signed. Let's look at some possible scenarios. In 2020 and 2021, stimulus checks were issued due to economic factors. In 2023, similar economic factors are showing up, predicting another round of stimulus checks. When the economy reaches a point where government intervention is necessary, stimulus checks will be issued. During periods of deflation, the government analyzes how much stimulus money is needed to save the economy. If they don't send out stimulus checks, the economy will continue to deflate. This is when the government intervenes to help individuals. It is difficult to predict exactly when this will happen, as it depends on the severity of other economic factors and the government's response. When the economy contracts, the government may realize the need for stimulus checks. Jobs are key indicators of the economy's performance. When jobs are lost, the economy contracts, and when jobs are gained, the economy expands. Regardless of a divided Congress, they come together when the impact of stimulus checks is necessary for economic recovery. Currently, the economy is showing signs of distress. Banks are collapsing, which could indicate a larger financial crisis ahead. Rescuing collapsing banks is like putting a band-aid on a deeper problem rooted in the economy. The situation needs to be carefully monitored, assessed, and resolved. From the Federal Reserve's perspective, low unemployment and healthy economic growth mean high inflation. To address this, the Federal Reserve tightens the economy by raising interest rates. This impacts consumers by increasing credit card interest rates and making it harder to pay off debts. Despite low unemployment seeming like good news, the Federal Reserve views it as a sign of a strong economy, leading to higher wages and excess demand for workers. Consequently, they raise interest rates to slow the economy. We should pay attention to the Federal Reserve's actions on interest rates and quantitative easing. These policies are key indicators of how they are managing the situation. Unlike previous rounds of stimulus checks tied to COVID-19 relief, the next check aims to revitalize the economy. The $1,400 stimulus checks sent out in early 2021 were not directly related to COVID-19 relief but were general payments. The exact reason behind them is unclear, but people received them and were happy regardless. The next round of stimulus checks will likely serve a different purpose, focusing on economic recovery rather than COVID-19 relief. In the past, stimulus checks have been issued during financial crises to support the American people and businesses. The current employment data raises concerns despite reports of job creation. Large corporations are announcing significant layoffs, suggesting potential inaccuracies in reporting job losses. To effectively stimulate the economy, it is crucial to focus on low-income recipients who tend to spend stimulus money, driving economic activity. Targeting low-income individuals with relief checks can substantially impact revitalizing the economy. The $1,400 stimulus checks in early 2021 were not directly related to COVID-19 relief but served as general payments. The next round of stimulus checks will likely focus on economic recovery rather than COVID-19 relief. In the past, stimulus checks were issued during financial crises to support the American people and businesses. The current employment data raises concerns despite reports of job creation. Large corporations are announcing significant layoffs, suggesting potential inaccuracies in reporting job losses. Targeting low-income individuals with relief checks can substantially impact revitalizing the economy. Studies show that they are more likely to spend the money, driving economic activity. Higher-income individuals tend to save money, which does not stimulate the economy. Congress, known for its slow pace, can act swiftly when necessary. In situations demanding stimulus checks, Congress can make quick decisions. The next round of stimulus checks will not be related to COVID-19 but will focus on rescuing the economy. Federal Reserve plays a vital role in recovering the economy during financial crises. They aggressively cut interest rates and implement quantitative easing, injecting trillions of dollars into the struggling economy. Once the situation escalates, Congress will act swiftly to approve stimulus checks, providing immediate relief to people and businesses. These situations take time to unfold. The role of Congress is to stabilize and maintain the economy. Targeting low-income beneficiaries ensures that money circulates through the economy, stimulating growth. Congress can act quickly when the need for stimulus checks arises. Stay informed about important signs and understand that Congress can act swiftly when the need for stimulus checks arises. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. This is Kedar from How to Guys. See you in the next video.
In this video, we'll be discussing the delivery dates for the $1,400 fourth stimulus check. This check is specifically focused on Social Security, including retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, RRB, low-income individuals, no-income individuals, seniors, older adults, and, of course, people with disabilities. I have all the details you need to know, so let's get right into it. Now, I know many of you have been asking some important questions. Will there be a fourth stimulus check? If so, how much will it be? How soon will we get it? And who will be included? These are all great questions, and I want to address them here because information is changing every single day. I want to keep you posted with what's actually going on. Before we dive into the details, I want to thank you for joining me. If you're new here or haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right below the video. It's totally free, and because I'm your daily advocate, I'm here for you every single day, watching all the new information hitting the wire. I do all the research and break it down into these short videos so you can stay informed about what's happening right now, and most importantly, what's out there for you to grab and take advantage of as a low-income or fixed-income beneficiary. This includes money, benefits, raises to benefits, checks, programs, stimulus, and more. I focus on how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, and your bank account. I'm always watching new announcements and everything coming out of Congress, the lawmakers, the administration, and more, as it's a very busy time. So again, thanks for joining me, and please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I'll be here for you every single day. That's my dedication and commitment. Now, let's talk about those important questions. First off, will there be another stimulus check? That's a great question. As of right now, a fourth stimulus check has not been approved yet. The best thing we need to watch right now is the economy, the Federal Reserve, inflation and interest rates, and everything else going on with the economy, the lawmakers, the new Congress, and the administration. All of this will indicate the likelihood of another check. It's very important to watch the economy and jobs. What's the unemployment rate doing? Are jobs being created or lost? This is crucial for more money for the low income, the fixed income, and virtually everybody. We already know the economy is starting to contract pretty aggressively. Tons of large, medium, and small corporations are laying off a lot of people right now. It's almost a daily occurrence to see headlines about another big corporation laying off thousands of people. This is a big deal, especially with big tech firms laying off thousands. These are just the big ones we hear about. Next, in the event of another stimulus check, how much would it be? This is another great question. It all comes down to the economy's needs and how much stimulus it requires. When they decide to send out stimulus checks, they don't look at our situation and say, the people need $1,400. No, they look at what the economy needs. Does it need $100 billion, $200 billion, or $400 billion? They calculate how much stimulus is needed for the economy and then determine the amount of stimulus checks for the people. Remember, when they send out stimulus checks, it's not because they're concerned about us. They use us as the proxy to get money into the economy quickly. They give us money because they know we'll spend it right away. The idea behind stimulus checks is to stimulate the economy, not for us to save, hoard, or invest the money. They want it spent. So, in the event of another check, who would be included? Again, it depends on how much stimulus the economy needs. In the last few years, we've had 3 different checks that reached about 85% of the population. However, in history, we've seen highly focused checks going out to just the low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries, which would encompass about 70 million beneficiaries or 21% of the population right now. This could happen again, focusing on the low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries. It all depends on what Congress decides. Ultimately, it's up to Congress to make the decision. They send it off to the president, who signs it, and then it's a done deal. Now, one of the main questions is, how quickly can they get the check to us? That's a really good question. Over the last few years, the process of sending out payments has been refined and they're getting faster at it. Let me explain. Way back in early 2020, when we got the first $1,200 stimulus check, it was approved and signed into law on March 27, 2020. However, the first payments didn't hit bank accounts until April 15th, about 2.5 weeks later. This was the CARES Act, a $2.3 trillion package. It took a while for the first wave of payments to go out, and some people didn't get their checks for 3 or 4 weeks, maybe even longer. The second check, the $600 one in late December 2020, was signed into law on December 28th. Amazingly, the next day, some people already had checks pending in their accounts. This wasn't for everyone, but many people got their checks about a week later in early January, with the first wave going out on January 4th. The third check, the $1,400 one, was signed into law on March 11, 2021. The first big wave of payments went out about a week later on March 17th. Payments were processed quickly, even though there were some delays for certain groups like Social Security and VA beneficiaries. But overall, the process was much faster than the first check. Long story short, they're getting better at this. When bills get signed into law, they can generally get payments out within about 1 week. So, if Congress wants to get something done, they can do it relatively quickly. However, as of right now, no new stimulus check has been signed into law or approved. I want to make that very clear to avoid any misunderstandings. I hope this video helps clarify some of the common questions and concerns. Now, a lot of you have been asking some critical questions. Will there be a 4th stimulus check? If so, how much will it be? How soon will we get it? And who will be included? These are excellent questions, and I want to address them because information is changing every single day. It's crucial to stay updated on what's actually happening. Before we dive into the details, I want to thank you for joining me. If you're new here or haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to hit the subscribe button below. It's totally free, and I'm your daily advocate, here for you every single day, monitoring all the new information. I do all the research and break it down into these short videos so you can stay informed. I focus on what's available for you as a low-income or fixed-income beneficiary, including money, benefits, raises to benefits, checks, programs, stimulus, and more. My goal is to help you understand how it all impacts you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, and your bank account. I'm always keeping an eye on new announcements from Congress, lawmakers, and the administration. So, thanks again for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I'll be here for you every single day. Let's talk about those important questions. First off, will there be another stimulus check? As of right now, a 4th stimulus check has not been approved. The key factors we need to watch are the economy, the Federal Reserve, inflation, interest rates, and everything else going on with the economy, lawmakers, the new Congress, and the administration. All of this will indicate the likelihood of another check. We need to keep an eye on the economy and job market. What's the unemployment rate? Are jobs being created or lost? This is crucial for more money for the low-income, fixed income, and virtually everyone. The economy is already starting to contract aggressively, with many large, medium, and small corporations laying off people. It's almost a daily occurrence to see headlines about another big corporation laying off thousands of people. This is a significant issue, especially with big tech firms laying off thousands. These are just the big ones we hear about. Next, in the event of another stimulus check, how much would it be? This is another great question. It all comes down to the economy's needs and how much stimulus is required. When they decide to send out stimulus checks, they don't look at our situation and say, the people need $1,400. They look at what the economy needs. Does it need $100 billion, $200 billion, or $400 billion? They calculate how much stimulus is needed for the economy and then determine the amount of stimulus checks for the people. Remember, when they send out stimulus checks, it's not because they're concerned about us. They use us as the proxy to get money into the economy quickly. They give us money because they know we'll spend it right away. The idea behind stimulus checks is to stimulate the economy, not for us to save, hoard, or invest the money. They want it spent. So, in the event of another check, who would be included? Again, it depends on how much stimulus the economy needs. In the last few years, we've had 3 different checks that reached about 85% of the population. However, in history, we've seen highly focused checks going out to just the low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries, which would encompass about 70 million beneficiaries or 21% of the population right now. This could happen again, focusing on the low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries. It all depends on what Congress decides. Ultimately, it's up to Congress to make the decision. They send it off to the president, who signs it, and then it's a done deal. Now, one of the main questions is, how quickly can they get the check to us? That's a really good question. Over the last few years, the process of sending out payments has been refined and they're getting faster at it. Let me explain. In early 2020, when we got the first $1,200 stimulus check, it was approved and signed into law on March 27th. However, the first payments didn't hit bank accounts until April 15th, about 2.5 weeks later. This was the CARES Act, a $2.3 trillion package. It took a while for the first wave of payments to go out, and some people didn't get their checks for 3 or 4 weeks, maybe even longer. The second check, the $600 one in late December 2020, was signed into law on December 28th. Amazingly, the next day, some people already had checks pending in their accounts. This wasn't for everyone, but many people got their checks about a week later in early January, with the first wave going out on January 4th. The third check, the $1,400 one, was signed into law on March 11, 2021. The first big wave of payments went out about a week later on March 17th. Payments were processed quickly, even though there were some delays for certain groups like Social Security and VA beneficiaries. But overall, the process was much faster than the first check. So, they're getting better at this. When bills get signed into law, they can generally get payments out within about 1 week. If Congress wants to get something done, they can do it relatively quickly. However, as of right now, no new stimulus check has been signed into law or approved. I want to make that very clear to avoid any misunderstandings. I hope this video helps clarify some of the common questions and concerns. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated with all the latest information that may impact low-income and fixed-income individuals, including money, benefits, raises to benefits, checks, ongoing checks, monthly checks, and more. There's a lot happening, and I want to keep you posted. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
This is promising. A $200 Social Security increase plus an additional $2,000 stimulus check, including people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA beneficiaries, and people on retirement RRB. Today, in this video, we have new information regarding the promising bill and a new report. If you have a lower or medium income, you are more likely to receive the stimulus check. If you are in this category, it's worth looking at the details. This money could be used for a variety of necessities, and it's clear that the money would be put to great use. I have all the details right here in this video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on all the bell notifications. Let's get right into the details. Let's take a look at each of the proposals, the potential for the stimulus check, who could be included, what type of stimulus check it could be, when it might come out, and why the government will be issuing it in this scenario. Also, how much the stimulus money could be and when you might receive it. We have all the details, and I'll be breaking down all the questions and speculations right here in this video. Now, in the event of a stimulus check, the Federal Reserve looks at the economy to determine how much stimulus is needed to help people recover. The money is then printed and pushed into the economy. One thing to note, the Federal Reserve provides stimulus money not out of kindness but because they know people will spend it, which is the best way to get the economy up and running again. The main intention is for the money to be quickly spent into the economy and not saved. The government recognizes the importance of getting money into the economy quickly and efficiently. If people save their stimulus checks, they are not helping the economy as much as they could be. The government wants the stimulus checks to be spent in different sectors of the economy, such as groceries, clothing, and more, spreading money throughout the entire economy and generating a positive impact. Many studies have shown that stimulus checks are the best way to get money into the economy. When it comes to the next round of stimulus checks, the government thinks it's very important to spend the money on necessities like groceries and clothes, helping the economy and taking care of personal needs. What does this mean for businesses? When everyone gets the stimulus check, they go out and spend it, causing businesses like Walmart and Target to see a huge run on their inventory. They then need to restock, creating a chain effect that keeps everything going. This stimulates the entire economy in a matter of weeks. Stimulus checks are an effective and quick way to impact businesses and people who need it most. If the economic situation is similar to early 2020, the same criteria might be used for this round of stimulus checks. It could be similar to the third stimulus check, with amounts like $1,400, $1,200, $2,000, or $1,600, depending on eligibility and other factors. Previous rounds showed that individuals with adjusted gross income below $75,000 and married couples below $150,000 were eligible. The main determining factor for eligibility is income, with low-income individuals usually being the primary recipients. Congress will ultimately decide the rules and eligibility criteria for the stimulus check, but it's likely that low-income beneficiaries will receive it if approved. Previous rounds have been quick with payment distribution, especially the second and third rounds, reaching bank accounts within a week of approval. Delays usually happen due to missing information from the IRS. In the event of another stimulus check approval, fixed-income beneficiaries will receive their checks once the bill is signed into law, typically within a week. This program is still under review, but it looks promising. If the $200 monthly increase is implemented for 1 year, it would result in an additional $2,400 per beneficiary. Considering there are approximately 70 million beneficiaries across various programs, the total cost to the federal government for 1 year would be $168 billion. Distributing a $2,000 stimulus check to the same 70 million beneficiaries would cost $140 billion. Which suits your needs better, $200 per month or a $2,000 one-time payment? These numbers are estimates and depend on the proposed plan's details. The total cost for the $200 increase would require an additional $28 billion compared to the stimulus check. One crucial aspect to consider is taxes. While stimulus checks are generally non-taxable, Social Security benefits may be subject to taxation depending on your annual income. A $2,000 stimulus check is not taxable and provides immediate funds, while a $200 monthly increase could potentially be larger overall but may be taxable. These differences have significant implications. A $2,000 stimulus check is immediate and non-taxable, while a $200 monthly increase provides a smaller, steady amount that could be taxable if your income exceeds certain thresholds. So, what are the key takeaways from this comparison? The total cost to the federal government for implementing the Social Security Expansion Act would be $168 billion per year, while a one-time $2,000 stimulus check would cost around $140 billion. In terms of cost, the $200 increase would require an additional $28 billion. However, taxes play a crucial role. Stimulus checks have generally been non-taxable in the past because they are considered refundable tax credits and not counted as income. This means they don't affect other resources or result in additional taxes. On the other hand, a $200 monthly raise in Social Security benefits may be taxable depending on your annual income. If your income exceeds $25,000 as an individual or $32,000 as a married couple, your benefits may become taxable, reducing the net gain from the raise. Examining the implications further, a $2,000 lump sum payment provides immediate, non-taxable funds that can be quickly used for financial needs. In contrast, a $200 monthly benefit increase, while offering a smaller apparent amount, could result in larger overall benefits over time, $2,400 per year. However, if your income is close to or exceeds the taxable threshold, the tax implications might reduce your net gain. In conclusion, both options have their pros and cons. A $2,000 stimulus check provides immediate, non-taxable relief, whereas a $200 monthly increase offers ongoing support but may be taxable. The best choice depends on individual circumstances, including income levels and financial needs. Ultimately, the decision will come down to what Congress determines is the best course of action based on the economic situation and the needs of the population. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the latest information.
This is awesome. A $2,000 fourth stimulus check, and guess what? If you are running low on cash, it might be just the perfect timing, the perfect recipe for another round of stimulus checks. But behind the scenes on the government side, it looks like a delicate balance between our savings and how much stimulus check the economy requires. I got all the details, everything you need to know, right here in this video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so today in this video, we will be taking a look at the report, which is actually showing some metrics that we need to watch very closely, as it gives an indication as to when more of the stimulus check is needed. According to what they are talking about, when we are hungry for cash, we are more likely to spend that money, turbocharging the economy like never before. So that's when stimulus checks become really important. Today, I have got some exciting news to share with you. News that could mean a $2,000 fourth stimulus check on the horizon. Yep, you heard it right. Stick around as I break down all the juicy details, because we just got a new report released. I'll be walking you through the report and what you need to know, and going to explain all the details. So without further ado, let's dive into all the details. However guys, before we start this video, make sure to hit that like button, share this video, subscribe to our channel if you like this topic. And with that being said, let's jump right into all the details. Alright guys, so let me reveal all the details about the crucial metric that everybody is talking about. Everybody's attention is focused on this single important factor. This metric is like a crystal ball of stability. This will give us a sneak peek into what might be on the horizon regarding the stimulus check, what might be heading into our bank accounts, and guess what? It is indicating that we could be looking for some significant financial assistance in the not-so-distant future. When the supply of our savings dwindles down, the demand for the stimulus check truly skyrockets, and that's where the real economic drama unfolds. However guys, before we get into the nitty-gritty details, if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on all the bell notifications, and let's get right into all the details. So let me break down all the details of this new report. When consumers don't have money to spend, guess what? Guess who takes the hit? Yeah, it's the businesses. If you are not buying their products or services, their profits will nosedive, and it's like a domino effect. We're talking about layoffs, people start cutting their inventory, people start laying off employees, and a whole lot of financial chaos starts to happen. Essentially, it all leads down to big chaos that will affect the entire economic picture. And that's, my friend, a key metric, a big deal. A delicate dance between our wallets, stimulus checks, and the economy. Talking about the new details regarding the stimulus check economic indicators. Now imagine this report as our financial compass guiding us on where more stimulus checks might be needed. Think of it as a countdown, not years, not many months, but we are talking about a few months or so. So it's that early. We could be looking at a substantial injection of funds that could happen. Now, stick around till then as I explain all the details, which will make sense. This report is like a financial compass. It's like a GPS for our financial details. It's like peeking into our wallets and seeing how much money we have and predicting when we might need a little extra boost and extra stimulus check. And here is the kicker. The report hails from the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. These folks keep a watchful eye on the economic gears that keep our nation going. And here's the thing, guys. Back in August 2021, Americans were sitting on a massive pile of cash. Yes, we are talking about a staggering $2.1 trillion in savings. That's a lot of money. But that is where the twist comes in. We had no clue that we were sitting on such a massive amount of cash, basically tons and tons of cash, basically trillions of dollars. But you know what? They know that fact. They have got their eyes on our financial moves, tracking every little dollar. Sneaky, right? But picture this, a couple of months ago, that $2.1 trillion had transformed into a mere $500 billion, a big drop, a big drop, no doubt. Now, here's where things get really interesting. While it might seem alarming that our savings have dwindled down, it's actually music to the ears of those watching the economic symphony. They are like conductors orchestrating the movement of cash to achieve a bigger goal. But here is where the twist comes in. They basically want us to have less money stashed away. It's like they are saying, hey, don't keep all that cash to yourself. Go spend it right here in the economy. They believe that too much saving can lead to some not so cool stuff like inflation, and nobody definitely wants that. So here is the thing. They are strategically pulling the money out of our pockets to keep the economic machine running without any worries, running without any concerns. But hold on, brace yourself, because they are now projecting that we might run out of cash very soon, like between now and the end of the year or early next year. That's when we are talking about, yes, that's right, we could be facing an empty wallet scenario, and you know what that exactly means. Yes, you guessed it right, more stimulus checks might be in order. So you might be asking, what's the big deal right over here? What's about having less money in our accounts? Well, it all comes back to a dance between us, our wallets, and the economy. You see, when we are financially strapped, a stimulus check becomes a lifeline. It's like offering a starving person a healthy meal that he needs the most. We are likely to spend it right away when we receive those stimulus checks. It's pretty simple, which in turn gives the economy a much-needed required boost. Now, before you start picturing various scenarios regarding this, let me tell you this. This isn't about conspiracy theories or political agendas. It's about understanding how the economy exactly works and how our spending patterns impact the grand scheme of things in the economy. Let's fast forward to today. They are keeping a watchful eye on how much money we have left, and $500 billion to be precise, that's the exact amount we have got. That might sound like a lot of money, but when you spread it across the entire nation, basically it clearly indicates that if a nation has got $500 billion in savings, it's not as high as it seems. And guess what? If you are low on cash, it might be just the perfect amount of timing, the perfect recipe for another round of stimulus checks. But behind the scenes on the government side, it looks like a delicate balance between our savings and how much stimulus check the economy requires. You know what? A stimulus check is also known as quantitative easing. It's like sending a quantitative amount of money into the economy to stimulate the economy. It's like having a financial puzzle. And every piece of the puzzle plays a crucial role in keeping the gears turning for the economy to run smoothly. And remember, guys, though it isn't a crystal ball prediction, it's clearly a glimpse into the economic factors which can guide us for better future decisions. It's a real head-scratcher, but bear with me, there is method to the madness. You see, at the heart of this financial party, if you talk about the financial grand scheme of things, you know what? Cash right now in our pockets is very low. And the masterminds behind the scenes, when they see people are spending less money, the economy is running very slow, practically running out of cash. Guess what? All it boils down to is something called inflation. Now, before you start thinking we are caught in some kind of twisted economic web, let me break down the idea of what it exactly means. Now, the idea here is pretty simple. If you have less money to spend, we can't drive the prices up. And that's their secret weapon against inflation. Sneaky, right? Now, it's like a quirky game where the rules are set up to keep our wallets slim. Pretty clever mechanism. But hold on to your hats, because they have predicted that it's just a matter of a few short months that our $500 billion will totally vanish away like a fog. And you know how money vanishes from your bank account? Just gets spent so much quickly. So out of this grand scheme of disappearing acts, we are looking at an economy with seriously shallow pockets. And that's where the plot thickens. Now, here is where the real magic happens. When the good old American consumers are running low on cash, guess what? Stimulus checks become a whole lot more effective. You see, when people have tons and tons of savings, sending out stimulus checks in that scenario won't be as effective as we are talking about the current situation. Stimulus checks become a whole lot more sensible, a lot more effective in these kinds of scenarios. So let's rewind a bit back to August 2021, when we had a whopping $2.1 trillion in savings. Imagine if they had handed out stimulus checks back then. Well, the impact would have been a gentle breeze because we were already sitting on a mountain of cash. We had tons and tons of money. Stimulus checks wouldn't have caused such a significant impact. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Fast forward to the time when our wallets are running low on money. The stage is set and they swoop in with those stimulus checks to see some excitement. Basically, we are like at the candy store, hungry for some